Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Wavelength. Most everyone who works for the LCRA, as well as our customers, felt some impact of the recent ice storm. In Austin, the central office complex was closed for 2 days. But for LCRA's generating facilities, it was business as usual. And despite adverse working conditions, employees at all 3 generating facilities and hydro operations kept the juice flowing in record amounts. On Monday, January 13th, the LCRA hit an all-time generation peak of 2,257 megawatts, more than 30 megawatts higher than the previous record. For LCRA's customers, the storm was a mixed bag. Some were not affected at all, but the Pedernales Electric Co-op suffered a direct hit.
Yeah, okay. We do have crews working out in the Georgetown area.
PEC responded to thousands of calls to repair residential outages, and the utility is still assessing the cost of the damage.
Mike Luxinger took the helm as LCRA board chair at the January meeting. The Burnett attorney and businessman has been on the LCRA board since 1990. He comes from a long line of family members who have had an association with the LCRA.
My opening comments yesterday to the other members of the board, I stressed that family is very important to me, and the family environment of the LCRA is just tremendous, and so impressed. And I've dedicated this year to my family. I lost my father this last year. I wish he were here now to share this with me. I have 2 uncles. Hudson and R.A. Luxinger, who spent their entire careers with the authority. The authority was family to them. They take great pride in the LCRA, and I hear from them from time to time if something's not going exactly where they think it should, and I'm glad to. And I mentioned yesterday that I want all the LCRA employees to always be proud to wear that LCRA cap or the jacket when they're in their community, and I wanted to, I didn't mention it yesterday though, but Bruce Wassinger, with what you did with your dad, thumbs up, guy. I followed that closely, and I was with you all the way, so had a way to go, guy. That was really neat what you did.
One of Luxinger's first items of business was to honor 2 special board members. Pat Oles, who served on the board for 10 years, was recognized for helping guide the LCRA through years of intense growth and change.
We'd spent a lot of time talking about LCRA issues over the years, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for Pat Oles. Pat came on the board 10 years ago. He served for a long time. When he came on the board, I think there were a lot of problems at the LCRA. Mark began his tenure at the LCRA almost the same time that Pat came on the board, and if you look at the progress that the organization's made in the last 10 years, it's remarkable, really. I think those of us who've come on the board recently are fortunate to inherit all the great work that Mark and Pat and their group have done in the last 10 years.
And Tommy Latoul of Bay City was honored.
Therefore, be it resolved that the LCRA thanks Tommy Latoul for the excellence of her counsel, the warmth of her friendship, and the courage of her convictions, and wishes her well in North Carolina.
Latoul served on the board for 3 years and is moving with her daughter to North Carolina, leaving behind many good friends.
She was mayor, of Bay City. She has a lot of leadership qualities. Tommy doesn't say much until the time comes, but when she says something, it is worth listening to.
Governor George Bush is expected to announce his appointments to fill the vacancies on the LCRA board in the near future.
Well, it's a new year, and that means lots of brand new challenges for the LCRA. So throughout this month's Wavelength, we're going to visit with each of the managers of the lines of business and find out what their top priorities are for 1997.
What you'll see us focusing on in LES is managing our business within the $10 million cap. We'll be working with the on-site water and wastewater rules. We'll be looking at what we're going to do in terms of opening our lab, implementing our marketing plan, and growing that business. We'll be completing the Lake LBJ recreation management plan, working on the Lake Travis noise ordinance. We'll be looking at the watershed management plan. John Gosden's group will be working with that. You'll be seeing a tremendous amount of public input in terms of a process that we'll go through in determining what we'll be doing with that program. With regard to the Colorado River Trail, we'll be completing Bastrop Riverwalk, opening McKinney's Roughs, completing FPP Parks and opening that, and hopefully getting construction underway on Canyon of the Eagles.
In 1997, we're going to see major implementations on our mobile radio system, both to internal customers and external customers. We've invested quite a bit in getting the infrastructure put in, the antennas up, and now we're really ready to start marketing not only to the internal LCRA staff, but to our communities in the Central Texas region. And we hope to have several thousand mobile radios out there. Also, we'll be looking at major implementation of fiber optics in our system. We're about to complete our first phase of Buchanan down to Austin on fiber optics. Boards approved us constructing all the way to the Fayette Power Project, so we'll have that backbone in. We've got interest from a number of third parties in constructing fiber on LCRA rights-of-way. We're going to be trying to work some deals there where people will be putting up the money to build that fiber on our rights-of-way and giving LCRA and its customers capacity on that fiber so that we can connect some more of our communities and get some more service for LCRA customers through that fiber system.
When Buchanan Dam was built in the 1930s, dams were engineered and built to withstand the worst flood that had ever occurred at that site throughout history. Today, those standards set by the state of Texas say that dams must be able to survive the probable maximum flood, or PMF. That's the worst possible flood event that could occur at that site. Excavation has begun here at Wirtz Dam near Marble Falls as part of LCRA's Dam Modernization Project. This 15-year, $42 million project is designed to bring all of LCRA's Highland Lakes dams into compliance with PMF standards. Wirtz Dam was given top priority and will take approximately $21 million to complete improvements, mainly to the earthen dam section, which would be overtopped by water during a PMF-type flood.
Okay, what we're going to end up with is basically a stair-stepped dam where along the entire embankment you will see concrete steps. Now, the idea behind the steps is that it will reduce the energy of the water passing over the top of the dam as it works its way down to the toe. One of the things about this concrete is that it will be buried anywhere from 15 to 20 to 30 feet beneath soil as you work your way to the roadway. When you look at this structure, the area above the ground line will be the concrete stair steps, but the area beneath will be covered with grasses. We're intending on going back in with wildflowers and such to bring this back to the aesthetics that we had prior to the construction.
Bernard Construction Company out of Bozeman, Montana is the contractor for the Wirtz Dam project. This work should be finished by August, and crews will then move on to projects at Buchanan Dam, followed by Inks Dam, Tom Miller, Mansfield, and finally Starkey Dam.
We're currently progressing as planned on the dam modernization project, which is a 15-year project, of which we're about 3 years into. And if things continue as well as they are now, we should finish this total project around the year 2010. Concurrent to this, we're also doing a 15-year hydroelectric rehab. And right now we've completed the units at Tom Miller Dam, and we're currently in the starting to begin reassembly on the Inks unit, and we'll start into construction on the Buchanan units 1 and 2 this summer, probably around June when we finish the Inks unit.
These dams have been controlling floodwaters and generating clean, renewable hydroelectricity for over 50 years. This dam modernization project will assure that they continue to serve and protect the people of Texas for the next 50.
97 is going to be interesting. Really, from a finance point of view, we got two things to do, among many others, but we have to have a source of taxable financing. We've got projects now that need to be developed, and we can't be limited by the private use regulations. That's one. The second one is we have some dinosaurs that we created in the late 80s with regard to our computer systems for accounting, payroll, payables, those sorts of things. We've got to figure out what to do with them this year and get it implemented before 2000, when basically because of that problem they stopped working.
Well, it's January in Austin, and so the state legislature's in session. And over the next 6 months, they're going to be considering legislation that's going to affect LCRA. It's going to affect how we do our business. It's going to affect how our customers do their business. I think we've gotten some signals from the legislature that they're pleased with LCRA. They think we're doing a good job protecting the environment. I think we're doing a good job providing reliable, low-cost electricity. But they are looking at some pieces of electric utility restructuring, and they're looking at some water legislation that will affect us, and it's going to be a very important part of what we're going to be doing over the next 6 months. At the same time the state legislature's in session, the federal Congress has come back in, and they are also looking at legislation to restructure the electric utility industry. So an awful lot of our efforts over the next 2 years are going to be spent working through this session of Congress. In addition to what's going on legislatively, as the utility industry changes, as the electric utility industry becomes more competitive, the way our customers do their business is going to change, and it's going to change our partnership with them. We provide what I believe, and I hope they believe, are some very important community and economic development services. But it's going to be more important than ever that we make sure that the services we're providing are the services that they want and that they need, and that we're providing it in the right way, in the most appropriate, cost-effective way. We're going to have to really listen to our customers and go further to cement our partnerships and our relationships with them.
These LCRA Way segments are designed to inform you about the people and programs that make this a special place to work. This month we're going to tell you about a new program that not only informs you about what your coworkers do, but allows you to experience it firsthand. It's called Walk a Mile in My Shoes. Sharon Humphrey works here in the Hancock building as an administrative associate for the Land Resources Department.
Land and Environmental Services, this is Sharon. May I help you?
She typically spends her workday on the phone or at her computer, but recently Sharon took a walk of a different kind.
God, it's beautiful down here.
Sharon is one of the first LCRA employees to participate in the Walk a Mile in My Shoes program. She will spend the day with Jerry Wajardo of Land and Environmental Services, helping him gather water quality information from 6 sites on the Pedernales and Llano Rivers and Sandy Creek.
The reason that I wanted to participate is so that I would learn more about what our community services area does. And if I know more, I can be more knowledgeable to the customer and to my area.
Sharon also learned how to gather water quality data using an instrument called a hydrolab. It measures several water quality parameters such as temperature, pH, and conductivity. And she braved the chilly waters of the Pedernales to help gather water samples.
The LCRA is such a big company, and there are so many job descriptions and different responsibilities and roles for its employees that many times the people just get focused in on just what they do to the exclusion of the other parts of the company and other responsibilities. And with this program, with the Walk a Mile in My Shoes program, it exposes other people to the various aspects of the company and increases just the awareness and the education of the other employees. And I think that overall is a big help.
The idea for the Walk a Mile program came out of the LCRA Employee Communications Committee.
In working with the committee, they kind of came up with some ideas about one of the best ways to get that one company feeling or try to keep it was to put a face to a name or put a face to a line of business. And over probably a 2 or 3 month period, we worked out the Walk a Mile in My Shoes program and kind of the rules, I guess, involved, such as they were. And the committee went and talked with Raymond Barker and talked about their ideas, and Raymond was impressed and decided to approve the program.
On this day, Wajardo, Humphrey, and intern Marcel Hutner will drive 250 miles, visiting not only the regular sampling sites, but also investigating 2 complaints from citizens in the area. Guajardo says this sampling program has been going on now for 13 years.
That's what's good about our database is we have an extensive database taken during periods of drought and or extremely high flows, and so the weather just generally doesn't have too much of an effect on our sampling. So we're out here during the spring, summer, winter, and fall.
If you're interested in the Walk a Mile in My Shoes program, contact your supervisor for more information.
Well, our whole industry is just changing radically, and who knows what's really going to happen in the next 12 months. What we've got on our radar screen is a lot of the same stuff that we've been focusing on for the last 5 years. Improving efficiency, how much generation we get for the fuel that we burn, cost-cutting measures, and one of the new things that is coming up is the Genesis project that we're looking at. You know, generation is really what's being deregulated more than anything else, that and the market aspect of electricity, and we want to see where we fit into that market and can optimize that for our customers. And that's really the focus of what Genesis is all about, looking at all of our different options. If you look around the country, a lot of people are doing a lot of neat things, and we're going to take a look at seeing what we can do, and that's really going to be a huge effort, and I'm really excited about it.
Particularly in GenCo, employees have sort of been hearing quite a bit about doing more with less for a long time. What changes do you see in '97 for the employees in GenCo?
Well, one of the themes that I've changed on the doing more with less is we're going to have to start doing less with less, because we're going to have to be smarter about what we do. We've got about 100 fewer people in GenCo than we did 5 years ago. So we've effectively been downsizing just as the other utilities have, but we've done it through an attrition program, not filling positions unless we absolutely had to. It puts a lot of pressure on our folks to find new and innovative ways, and I am just continue to be impressed on how well they respond to that. It's not always easy, and with the market that is coming up that is going to be real competitive, it's going to make it even more important in the future.
Well, we've got a number of prospects that we're working on for new water and wastewater utility service. You're aware of what we've done on Brushy Creek. We're continuing to expand that. In addition, we're in the throes of purchasing a number of additional systems to include small towns, Smithville, Elgin, and some others upriver. Our big effort in the water and wastewater end of things is going to be to keep up with operations.
With the expansion of the WaterCo company side, how do you see that merging with environmental sensitivity?
Well, we are going to have to work to make sure that the appropriate merger happens, and we are committed that it is going to happen. I think with the role of Ken Manning now, is going to facilitate that happening. We have as a priority to ensure that we're doing the proper thing from the environmental stewardship angle as we grow this business. We have to. That's our responsibility. The Act says we're supposed to do that, and that's what we're going to do.
Well, the next 12 months are going to be exciting because of the thought of competition. Of course, LCRA has been exposed to competition over the years because we've been in the wholesale business. So this next 12 months, the legislative actions that will be taken by our state government to enhance competition, to bring about more competition, probably be our biggest challenge. I relate that to our relationship with our customers, our 44 wholesale customers, the kinds of price offerings that we'll be able to bring to them so that they will remain competitive. So I think that's the number one challenge for us.
What about you have under your wing a large number of folks. Anything particularly to the employees that work in your area?
Well, I think the employees have taken the appropriate attitude over this last couple of years to realize that the things that we need that we're doing that we need to do for our customers need to be efficiently done, and we need to be productive with our time, and we need to be cost conscious. And so it's not a new subject. I commend the employees for the job they've done so far at looking at that, and we've made significant changes in the organization over the last 2 or 3 years that will keep us competitive for the next 3 to 5 years, and we'll continue to work that plan. The employees have responded very well to that, so I think we're in good shape to meet the challenges that they face in the construction area, the engineering area, the fuels area going forward.
Well, how you folks doing today? I'm over here at the Smithville rail car facility on my way over to Grumpy's to eat lunch. No, not going over to my mother-in-law's. I got a great mother-in-law. Matter of fact, we get along real good together. It's her daughter I can't get along with. Just kidding, of course. Now I'm on my way over to Grumpy's restaurant over in Flatonia. Going to be giving a little after-dinner speech today. I'm a member of the LCRA Speakers Bureau, and that gives some of us LCRA employees a chance to get out and about in the service territory and kind of talk a little bit about some of the great things we do here at LCRA. I got a little presentation I give about the rail car facility, tell them how we maintain the fleet of cars and everything. And I tell you, the first time I ever went and give one of those things, I was over in LaGrange, Texas, over at the Bonton, giving it for the Lions Club. And they told me I could bring a guest, so of course I brought my wife with me. I like to travel with her, you know, because when we do, she does all the driving. That way all I have to do is just guide the steering wheel and push them little pedals. But anyway, we were sitting there at the Bonton eating, and I was sitting there kind of just picking at my food, and she leaned over and she said, "What's the matter, hon?" I said, "Aren't you hungry?" I said, "Well, to be honest with you, I'm just about to starve to death. I mean, you don't get my side by just picking at your food." And I said, "But you know, I've been doing some studying, been doing some reading." And I said, "I done found out that if you're gonna give a speech, you should never give one on a full stomach. Because from what I understand, the process of digestion just takes a tremendous amount of oxygen. And if you eat too much, you can actually cause oxygen depletion to the brain. Matter of fact, over Thanksgiving and Christmas this year, I had some meals that I'm surprised didn't do some permanent brain damage. But of course, I guess again, how would you tell? But anyway, I got up finally to give my speech, and I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging or anything, but I forevermore shelled down the corn. And as I was walking back to my seat after it's over, to the sound of thunderous applause, I don't know if the people's clapping because the speech is so good, or if they like me, it's just so darn glad it's over. But I finally sat down at the table and kind of leaned over my wife and said, "Hey, hon, how'd it do?" She looked up at me and she said, "I don't want to bust your bubble or anything, but you just might as well have went ahead and ate." You know, that woman just got a innate ability of just cutting right to the chase. Well, I tell you, I better get on over to Flatonia. So this is the old Supreme Commander saying, save a little money each month. And at the end of the year, you'll be surprised at just how little you have. Catch you next time.
Rubber gloves are a standard safety item for the LCRA line crews and most of our customers. The slightest defect in a glove can kill a person, and that's one reason the testing lab the LCRA operates is so very important.
Look for ozone damage, which is cracking in the gloves, caused from the corona, like the sun gives off or whatever. Also maybe holes in the glove, which electricity could poke through and reach the guy. Looking for tears in the rubber from maybe lines or whatever, from snags, gashes, rings. Sometimes the guys' rings will put a hole in them when they're putting the rubber gloves on. Anything which would damage the glove.
The Protective Equipment Testing Lab has recently been expanded and now services 1,000 pairs of gloves each month. The lab serves over 100 different customers, most of them wholesale electric customers, who have found the service and the price of the lab better than anywhere else.
This profit center here already had the test lab in service where we were providing testing services inside, and we were given the responsibility of covering our cost and providing that service to those customers that would like to have that service. And we've been real successful in covering our costs and increasing the customer base and providing those services that are competitive to the market.
So if you've got some gloves that need to be looked over, give Paul Kirby a call. He'll be glad to help. Coming up in the February edition of the LCRA News, you'll learn how cross-training programs have LCRA employees using a variety of skills to complete their jobs. And we'll learn how Tensco has reorganized the way they do business. And we'll pay a special tribute to some LCRA employees who have passed away.
Well, that's it for this edition of Wavelength. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.